Welcome to Drinks Coach. Today a bit different. Thought we'd mix it up a bit because it does say Drinks Coach. Drinks Coach at Drinks Coach UK, Insta, and on Twitter. If you've got any questions to ask me, please ask them on social media, and we'll do a special Q&A on Fridays. That's the plan going forward anyway. But today, I had a few beers in the fridge, which I didn't buy that long ago, so I still assume they're all available, reasonably widely available, but different. Why beer? My wife asked me a load of questions the other day. I think it was an Apple News quiz about drink. And one of the questions was, which of these countries has the most breweries? And not only was I annoyed that I got it wrong, I said Germany, which is way off, but it's by how much. Britain has over 2,500 breweries now. The explosion has been unbelievable. That's not to say that they're all good beers, right? I mean, I drink beer every day, which I think is a bit whack, out of balance, overhopped, not made with fresh ingredients. You can taste these things. So I thought I'd just pick out a few beers that I know I've had recently and had doubles of. My wife and I are both beer heads as well. And also, it's not just wine and beer either, is it? Stay tuned for some spirits items too. So here's 4 beers, quite different in style. We're starting off with this little fella from the London Brewing Company, which is Sour Solstice Blood Orange Cranberry Sour. All the prices, by the way, will be in the YouTube pull-down information thingy at the bottom. These things are usually around the same sort of money. I think it's about £2 or £3. But this is a Blood Orange and Cranberry Sour, and it's what they call a Berliner Weisse. They use sour fruit during the ferment. They also add lactic acid, and in fact lactose sugars to bolster the body of the beer. Oh, blimey, Jesus, it went everywhere. I wasn't expecting that. That's not a normal top. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of got a old Sapporo can top. Blimey. Okay, I'm going to drink straight out of the can. It's dreamy. Some people don't like sour beers. This one's delicious. You've got a taste of the blood orange rind. You've got a really strong taste of cranberry in the beer. Gives it a real positive tang. Very nice beer. How strong is this? Let's have a look. 4.8%. So this is a sessionable beer. Most craft beer tends to be a bit punchier than that. Here we go. Well, delicious that. They make all sorts of strange beers with strange names. Love or hate, life and death. Some very, very cool beers, though. But do follow them, the London Brewing Company. This is probably a name that everyone's familiar with now. This started off the revolution, and anybody who says otherwise is kidding themselves, really. This is Brewdog, Elvis juice. Why it's called Elvis juice, I don't know. What I do know is this is an IPA. The Brewdog style of beer is never backwards and coming forwards. And this has also been infused with grapefruit. And grapefruit has a tannin and a pithiness about it. So I quite like when some of those beers, which are very, very bitter, in this sort of slightly almost sending themselves up West Coast IPA, American style beers. Very, very bitter. Lots of really sort of strange hybrid hops from all over the world. If you add something like grapefruit, that citrus kind of pulls it back into balance. This is a grapefruit infused IPA, as I said. Strength won't be dissimilar to the last one, I don't imagine. Where are we? Can look it up in a minute. It's not. Oh yes, it is 6.5%. So no, this is craft beer strength. Lovely colour. It's got lovely amber colour to it. Punk IPA, I think, is one of the great modern classics. Along with certain beers that sort of cropped up just as the English brewing industry started to flag. Thornycroft, Jaipur. I believe the Brewdog boys used to work for them, I'm not sure, but very similar. Big IPA star, modern IPA star. But anyway, that smells great. Very complex hop notes. Smells like they're using all sorts of different hops. I can smell a bit of Citra in there, which is a hop that smells of grapefruit. Now that would make sense to put that together. Maybe a bit of Simcoe. Mosaic, I don't know. I mean, they use all sorts of hops at Brewdog, but let's try it. Well, for a Brewdog beer, I think that's got really nice hop balance. If you've got a lot of bitterness units in a beer, I think you need alcohol to balance that out, and there it is. It doesn't taste at all alcoholic. The The job is in a small bottle though. Hey, delicious, very well balanced. A little bit of complexity. I like that. Decent. Okay, so a couple of light beers. Done the saison. We've now done an American style IPA. Now we've got a couple of stouts. This is for the Magic Rock Brewery. I really like this beer. I think the first time I tried this actually was from a Systembolaget, which is one of the government drinks shops in Sweden where my mother lives. Shout out to Mum. Hi there. So this is called Dark Arts Surreal Stout. This ain't mucking about either. I think it's about 6.5%. Just looking for it somewhere. No, okay, 6%. There we go. I shouldn't really pour it that slowly. You know, if you talk to specialist brewers, they say that when you taste beer, you should put it into a glass and pour it in with lots of vigour, because you're trying to punch the carbon dioxide out. It's only there to preserve the beer in its storage, and the CO2 isn't supposed to be a part of the start of the beer. And you'll notice that most of these beers are in cans, and people are going, "Oh, why is it in cans? Why is it not in bottles?" Well, the technology is such that it makes sense to brew it in cans now. It lets in no light. It means that you can pasteurize at a lower level, so it goes through the process not having been treated with such extreme heat. And it's the way forward. So when you see these Coca-Cola style cans, that's the format in which to drink it. Also, it's a lot more ecologically sound because you can recycle aluminium cans just like that. Glass, it's landfill, isn't it? Really. Okay, so Dark Arts Surreal Stout, lovely. I mean, I used to not like dark beers because I found them too sickly, but the modern homologation of beer, it allows these wines to be refreshing even on sort of spring days. It's got a lovely figgy dark chocolate twang to it, but there's still refreshment, if you know what I mean. It's still refreshing. It's got good acidity. It's got a nice thyme dried hop dried sort of like Italian herbs sort of character at the back, which reins in the sweetness of the beer. And the hops are nicely balanced by the alcohol. Very, very nice beer. Don't be boring and drink Guinness all your life. Nothing wrong with Guinness, but there are some great stouts out there. Finally, this is from the Vocation Brewery. Vocation's one of the coolest breweries that I've been following for a while now. It's from Hebden Bridge, up north. And this is 6.9% alcohol, so this is the strongest, but only slightly. And this is a collab. If you've heard of collaborations in music, they do that in breweries as well. There's a collaboration between the Vocation Brewery up in Yorkshire and the Yeastie Boys. Yes, the Yeastie Boys. Shout out, Stuart, you're my hero. Who are amazing brewers from New Zealand who have now made their life in the UK, and they make beer in various breweries around the country. They actually made a lot of beer at Brewdog for a while. Now they're making beers in West Berkshire. And they do special beers everywhere and have their own fantastic beers. I might do them at another time, but the two beers that really have kind of created a reputation for them is Gunner Matter, which is an Earl Grey tea infused IPA. It's utterly delicious and refreshing. And there's a beer called Pot Kettle Black, which is their stout, which is maybe one of the top 3 stouts I've ever tasted, session stouts that is, outside the British Isles. Anyway, so this is the Vocation Brewery Yeastie Boys Blueberry Muffin and Waffle Stout. Waffle and Blueberry Breakfast Stout, sorry. It's called Breakfast in a Can. Just imagine waking up and drinking one of these first thing. It's got plenty of carbohydrates in it, so it would be a bit like having a normal breakfast, just with 7% alcohol added. It's got a colour where you can actually see the blueberries. This is more like it. I know it looks like it's a stupid pour. I've got lots of head, but this will really bring out the smells. That's more like it. You're either going to love this or hate this. But I love Christmas cakey, confected flavours in certain beers, especially dark beers, because you're starting with a base of chocolate, dried fig and dates and things like that. And you're layering brighter fruit on top. So this has got a taste which does just taste like Bon Maman blueberry jam and a little caramelised waffle character, which is really present at the front of the mouth. Absolutely delicious. Fantastic. Anyway, check the comments below in the YouTube information pull down. If you're watching TV, you'll probably have to go to your phone or to a laptop. But, you know, that's a bit different. 4 beers, 10 minutes. See you next time.